What if I told you that Dodge's first ever electric muscle car is already on life support and might not make it past the 2027 model year? The simplest definition of an oxymoron is two things that makes no sense whatsoever together. Like pretty, ugly, like open, secret, and my favorite electric muscle car. But the Dodge Charger Daytona has been a very polarizing vehicle from the day it was announced in 2020 to its release date in 2025. I know, it sounds very dramatic, but stick with me because it gets worse after the intro. Roll it. Okay, well, over 49,000 friends and the 57% of you guys who are watching these videos, stalking my every upload, but have not subscribed to the channel yet. Do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, and let's cross this 50,000 subscriber threshold together and keep exposing things that they do not want you to know about. But let's talk about the Dodge Charger Daytona.
This is the Charger Daytona SRT Banshee. And because it's a Dodge BEV, it will be an assault and battery on convention. Like I said when we started, it's a very simple formula. Look like a Dodge, sound like a Dodge, and drive like a Dodge.
From day one, it was very, very polarizing. From the fake exhaust sound system to the goofy Froxoner branding, everything screamed a gimmick for this particular vehicle.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
And now it is a full-blown disaster. Now I know some of you electric Charger Daytona owners who love your cars to death, just like people who love their Pintos to death, are going to be, just sick and tired of me keep talking about this car and call me a hater over it. But numbers never lie, and facts do not care about your feelings. Because according to the Q2 2025 sales data, that's right there, Mopar Insiders, Dodge sold just 4,300 Charger Daytonas in the first half of the year. I'll repeat that again, 4,300 units, not 43,000, 4,300 units. Now, to put that into perspective, the Hornet, a crossover that a lot of people do not like and nobody really wanted to have, it is literally outselling the Charger Daytona even after losing 50% of sales this year, right? The actual Dodge Durango, a decade over, I think it's over a decade, 15 years, whatever. This old SUV is outselling the Charger Daytona like literally almost 5-1. The Challenger and Charger from 2023, discontinued almost 2 years ago, still sold over 3,000 units, right? That's almost beating it in sales. Q1, it outsold it. Now there's less units available and people are still buying. People are still buying the old, outdated Challenger and Chargers over these damn go cars. It's hilarious. Even with the insane lease deals, these insane deals they give you on all different cars and stuff depending on where you're in the country, this is still one of the worst selling vehicles in Dodge's lineup, and it's barely outselling anything in the previous era of cars. They haven't sniffed production for almost 2 years. But earlier this year, I told you guys that the Dodge Charger Daytona RT was quietly killed off for the 2026 model year. Now, my dear sources indicated to me that Dodge shared materials to the dealers that the Charger Daytona RT was going to be removed for the 2026 model year, along with a few other changes like get rid of the actual badging for the stage kit stuff. But I already shared that in my previous video when I talked about that particular vehicle. But I heard for a week that, oh, Butter is lying, him and TK, they just clickbaiting all this other nonsense. Dodge will never discontinue the Charger Daytona. They just released it. Oh man, they just making stuff up for money and clickbait and views and stuff. This is how YouTubers do, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just saying, even in the video, right, I provided documentation to prove exactly what I said. But you know what they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. So I'm just saying, I provide documentation a lot of times when I'm allowed to basically make sure that my sources don't get hurt. But even then, people still don't want to believe what I'm saying. But those same people had to eat crow because Dodge had put out a press release that the Dodge Charger Daytona RT was in fact gone for the 2026 model year. Now they blame it because of tariffs, not because of poor sales or software issues and stuff. So I mean, I'm just saying, how can you explain that? I didn't guess that the Charger Daytona RT was going to be canceled, right? I had to know it from somewhere. So now the word around the campfire is that a source says that suppliers have been informed that the entire Charger Daytona lineup is going to be gone after the 2027 model year. Now, this makes sense to me why this is the case, because let's get into what's happening, right? Now, the first thing is tariffs. The Charger Daytona is built in Canada, but with Trump-era trade policies, the US automakers are now facing up to 35% tariffs on EVs built outside the country, as well as engines and other things. But for this video, let's just say 35% tariffs on EVs built outside the country in Canada. That adds thousands of dollars to the MSRP overnight to a vehicle that people already said was way too expensive in the first place. Now you got the other thing is that there's no more tax credits, right? So no more $7,500 for that EV bribe, EV tax credit that's now gone under this current administration. Now, I always question, why not give people a tax credit if they buy really any non-gas guzzling vehicle, right? If you buy a vehicle whose, let's just say it's EPA MPG is rated at 40 to 45 MPG, why not give those people an actual tax credit rather than just electric vehicles? But you know what? I'll digress because I don't want to get too, people too sensitive who love EVs. But automakers are now eating the full cost of these electric programs and realizing that it is not sustainable. These companies quickly got off this EV bandwagon when the fear of hundreds of million dollars in compliance fines by California and the federal government were voted on and legislated out of existence. But, I'm just saying that if it wasn't for that nonsense, would this whole EV charger and EV whole push even existed in the first place? But I'll digress before people get too sensitive. But back to Stellantis, they had a leadership change as well. Now, Carl Tavares, who pushed this whole EV transition hard, this whole nonsense with him, he's now gone. And now you see Stellantis pivoting to try to go back to a winning formula, which is why they brought back my dear friend Tim Kuniskis. Now, the EV timelines, ever since they have pivoted, have all been either delayed or canceled across the board. You got Chrysler's EV crossover that's going to do, and that's basically delayed. You got the Ram Rev, long version, the long range edition version, that's canceled. The Durango replacement, which I'm pretty sure was probably going to launch as an EV only first, that vehicle's been delayed a few years, because that's why the Durango got extended all the way to about 2028, 2029. That's not really a pivot because of a change in administration. That's like a full-blown retreat. But let's call it what it is, right? The Dodge Charger Daytona was a rushed attempt to chase subsidies because they had both the Canadian and the US government paying them in the background, and also to look good to regulators who were trying to push this whole EV nonsense, right? But customers were not buying it, literally. And Stellantis might not even sell 9,000 electric chargers this whole entire year if these lease deals do not stay strong until the end of the year. 9,000 chargers. Could you even imagine if it was like a situation where they just sell 9,000 RTs, Scat Packs, Hellcats, Red Eyes, Superstock Demons in 1 year? Could you imagine the whole push for, like, look, get rid of HEMIs? But of course, with EVs, it's fine, it's okay, right? But you know, the last time I checked several actual zip codes, for example, and all of them pointed to basically these RTs still getting a good lease deal. But I seem to remember when I made my last video that you can't even get a 2026 model year Charger Daytona RT. So you're having to get insane lease deals on a previous model because 2026 Charger is going to be out probably in the next, couple of months, whatever. So there must have been a lot of these RTs sitting around on the lots that no one is buying. But I know these Charger Daytona owners are going to be pissed off at this video, but I say, hey, you don't got to take my word for it. Don't believe me since I'm not a Charger Daytona owner and I'm not allowed to speak on this stuff about how much of a disaster there's been for Dodge. I mean, don't even pay attention to the sales numbers and stuff. Don't pay attention to the, these YouTube videos from us and some of these owners who make videos about their cars and stuff. Go check out the forums and the Facebook posts from actual owners who prove that these cars have terrible, terrible software issues, right? After 99 big major updates, every week you keep hearing, oh, update, fix this, update, fix that. But they still have not fixed everything from the last time those cars got updated. And so, like I said earlier, numbers never lie and facts don't care about your feelings. But I'm just saying.
Look, here's the facts. We didn't ask for the rules to change. We didn't want them to change, but they did.
So would Dodge really pull the plug on a Charger Daytona after the 2027 model year? My sources say yes. And honestly, I think it is a very good thing. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the Scat Pack and the RT name belongs on HEMI powered cars. And if the HEMI returns, and let's say it's by the 2028 model year, which is really 2 years from now, Dodge will have those names available again for HEMI powered trims. Let Chrysler get a gas powered and an EV electric 300 based on Charger Daytona, but let Dodge go back to building real muscle. Bring back the Gen 3 HEMI, work on that secret new Gen 4 HEMI that I know you guys are working on in the background. Give us another real challenger, a real Charger, not this overpriced, underpowered, software played SUV wheelbase car with a hatch and a soundbar exhaust. But I want to hear what you guys think. Is Dodge doing the right thing by pulling the plug, or should they keep trying to beat a dead horse and save the Charger Daytona? Should they release a Banshee to take the Plaid and the Lucid Sapphire, take their crowns? Drop a comment down in the comment section down below. And speaking of which, working on stuff in secret, if you want to check out the Gen 4 HEMI project that I exposed, you can check out this video right here. And until the next time, I am out.